This is my newest video, and this is going to be ideas for modern houses and just sort of modern types of builds that you probably need to use sometime if you're useful. And yes, it's very useful Minecraft build style. It's becoming a lot more popular nowadays. So I thought I would just make this. I've deliberately made this design so it's showcasing a lot of these modern house styles, so it may not look very good because I've used it to demonstrate and showcase a lot of the things that I'm going to talk through today. So here we are in the exterior, not in the exterior, it'll be the exterior of the house, and you could probably see in the starting little montage that I have made a custom birch using diorite wool to make it look more realistic, because as you can see, this design of diorite does look a lot like the birch log block, so I can use it to create a sort of spindly tree and making it look a bit more natural than they usually would with all that blockiness. But yeah, I've just got one here, so you can see this is a lot more square and sort of rectangular than this more natural shaped one, especially due to the bent trunk. And also, one of the standing out features of this build is this main bit, the walkway up to the house. I've deliberately made it lots of water pools and things so I can demonstrate how useful water can be when you're designing modern houses, because it offers it a very nice chance to break up the harsh sort of white and then the dark grey of the cyan terracotta, and it offers a sort of relaxing kind of feel and offers much to the life of this modern house. That's a very important thing when you are building modern houses. You need lots of leaves, greenery and foliage, but organised foliage. As you can see, we have a sort of rough sort of pile over here. I made this to demonstrate this not really what you should be doing in modern houses. So if you can see, if we just get rid of this, it will immediately make this whole modern house just that little bit cleaner. And that sort of birch tree out the front is sort of a representation of nature, a natural look, because if you manually make stuff look a lot more natural, sometimes it's rare, but if you can incorporate it right, it does look good, such as in this case. And I've also added the sugarcane to add to the natural look. And this is what I was saying about maintained greenery. So you have a line of bushes up here, which is sort of breaking up, because you can see there was spruce panks down there, and it's sort of a bit too much of a contrast between the white. So I've used that to break it up and more ease into the darker colours in that main doorway. Also note the general shape of this front. It's largely simple because we've got the waterfall going down the edge, and this sort of large P shape we got coming over, which leads up to the bedroom, which I'll show you in a moment. Actually, no, probably more the end of the video, not in a moment. Make sure to hang around to the end to get to see the exclusive views out of our balcony and our wonderful little viewing room here. But you probably already see the balcony at the start, which isn't much of a teaser, but oh well. So, as you can see, as we come around the side here, we've got a sort of unusual outcrop coming out of the building. You wouldn't really see this kind of thing in real buildings, as it's more of a Minecraft fantasy that we like. As with a lot of things with these modern houses, you wouldn't usually see it in real life, but it sort of gives that modern look to it that some builders just can't resist, like me. So this is our viewing room in here. We've got a little chair with our table, and I've used yet again those maintained leaves to break up the outline of this more sharp structure. If you were to have it without it, it just adds that little bit of life that a lot of builds need, and some people forget when they're building their modern houses. Moving across to the other side, we have this rather different entranceway to the rest of the house due to the spruce being level with the concrete, and this is an alternative design feature that you can use in lots of different designs, but it doesn't really fit with this one, but I was just showing it so that seeing it is a possibility. You don't have to indent all of the contrasting colours. And if you only stand down here, you will notice we have the brand new sculk sensors being showcased here, as of course I am in the 1.17 snapshot, which is where we have these beautiful little redstone contraptions in here. So I have used it to create, which is probably the most compact 2x2 piston door in Minecraft using these new sculk sensors. And as you can see, I can walk towards this door at full sprint, and it can just open in time for me to walk through into our lounge area. Now, the final piece of this exterior is the back, which can be surprisingly important when you're doing things sort of like cozy houses, which also these leaves also help in. Sort of the around the front, as you can see, we more have a sort of only entrance here, sort of not very accessible and more for looks around the front. But as we go around the back, you can see that we get a lot more of the sort of balcony type thing and just things for show rather than being like imposing, and maybe that's security reasons. So we've got these nice big open doorways. This is a large sliding door here and here, which is probably rather expensive if you were to do it in real life, but this is Minecraft and we can do what we want here. And also, you'll see on the top there, we got this rather nice balcony, which you have seen in the montage at the start, which looks over this very nice scenery over here. In fact, if we go right round to this side, you see the viewing room. Actually, the main reason I built this viewing room was to get a really nice view of these Birch Hill forests, I think they're called. Yeah, and it's a very dramatic landscape that you don't tend to see usually in these forests. So that's the reason of the viewing room. But back round to the back, as you can see, we also have this rather strange, unusual ice in here, which, as I have set the random tick speed to 0, won't melt. But if you're building in survival or no cheats allowed world, remember that this ice can melt, and I've used it to sort of a tinted glass as we have into the main toilet. I probably shouldn't be looking into a toilet, but this is just for show purposes, and there's no one in there anyway. But still, don't do that in real life. It's not a good thing to do, kids. Listen. So as we move on rather swiftly from that rather important life lesson, we see we have used these leaves again in this build to see how, like, you don't have to fill all of it with leaves. It can get a bit clustered if you have too many of them in this build, and I've just used the sort of bottom layer to yet again break up that outline and just give it a more lively feel about the thing. This is part 1 of a part 2 series. Make sure to watch out for part 2, which will be coming soon.